thank you, Efron, for coming to our show again. First of all, the show is our latest exhibition of people who have been studying with me for a number of years. Some of them for maybe 12 years, 15 years, some of them for 2 years, 1 year. But it's an extension, a natural outcome of a seminar class. Basically, I hate to say critique, but it's equivalent of a postgraduate seminar in abstraction that we hold every Wednesday afternoon from 2 to 5 in my studio at the Selkirk. And what it is as an offering from the painting classes I was doing, a lot of people were coming to my classes to study abstraction. I've never taken people in and said you have to paint abstractly. In fact, I really, in my brochure spells it out pretty good. I say I will show people how to do experiments in abstraction. I really don't know how to paint their paintings. I don't want to know. So, but people have responded to that because what I've helped them do, if nothing else, is develop a single focus for a period of time. They tell me they want to do something abstractly. My question is, how do you know to do something that you don't know what it is? So we start off with that kind of conversation. So the course may start off in a painting class on Wednesday mornings where I provide people with some kind of a philosophical, stylistic, technical approach to doing experiments in what I know as abstraction. And I tell them that. I only know what I know about it. But it is rooted in art history. And the kind of abstraction I'm talking about is specifically derived or rooted in abstract expressionism. But if you look at abstract expressionism, of course, it's like impressionism. There are many, many different streams of abstraction, all the way from kind of an atavistic approach of someone like Jackson Pollock, where our art is almost ritual, to the sublime art is idea of Barnett Newman. And then you get hybrids like Agnes Martin and Helen Frankenthaler and Robert Ryman. There's all kinds of examples of people who have, in a sense, created their own stream within that larger context. So I try to give them some grounding, some awareness of what has been done, what is possible, coupled with the idea that you can't just think about this philosophically. You actually have to paint in such a way that you're using the language that leads to, in a sense, something that isn't a picture. Because, for instance, we start off with composition. I would suggest that 99% of all representational paintings are asymmetrical. They're dominant and subordinate relationships. This is an example of what we do. So I'll throw that out at them, and of course they won't argue back with me because they're naive or ignorant. They're not stupid. They just don't know. And that's basically true. The pieces that are representational, meaning they have a person, place, or a thing in them, are iconic. They're symmetrical. This is not about the way the world looks, but an idea or a belief. So to make a long story short, I use the phrase that, or the idea that in representation, people start in chaos and they arrive at order. The art is in how well you order things and how everything is integrated. And as far as I know, the largest canvas in the world will not include all of the picture. The picture is a window that you look through, and representational paintings are great lies. They make you forget you're looking at a part of something. So if you contrast that to the idea of abstraction, where you're looking at the whole thing, and you're not beginning with chaos, you begin with order, and you end with order. You modulate it. So that's a kind of nonsensical dialogue I have with people, and it gets them thinking. My idea is not to make people do this, but to present them with the challenge that if you're going to do anything, whether it's painting ducks and shoes or whatever, you do it with absolute integrity and purpose, and you know what you're doing so that you can surprise yourself when it transcends what you intended to do. So out of this kind of nonsensical or sensical dialogue, people have gathered around and they've told others, and I don't advertise anymore because people just tell each other, and somehow they find the idea that someone is telling them do one thing: you're pregnant or you're not. So when people come to me, so I do, my work's kind of abstract, but I like leaves, I put a little image in there. So I asked them, in a Rothko painting, as a for instance, do you see any imagery? Would it have been better if he had put a little leaf in the middle of the painting, or gold leafed it with a little squiggle? That's what you find in Hallmark cards. But that's not what any artist does. Just like Constable didn't put a black square in the middle of his painting to make it abstract as well. So I think there's a lot of nonsense, or everybody, everyone has their own style. So when people come to me and say, I have my own style, I say, great, I hope you enjoy doing it, and please, do it. Because if you've arrived at a position, you don't really need a class, you need to do it. So the cool thing about this group is we've had this dialogue now for the last 5 years with this particular group of people. And I kept telling them, well, we need to have a show at some point. We can talk about it, it's great, I love it, or I hate it, but you need to put it out there. So it's a natural outcome of them developing a body of work that it was a sufficient level to expose it to the larger public. So my job in that has been shepherding or mentoring or giving them the best of my own experience in doing this for a long time, and telling them simple things like the labels have to be done as well as the paintings are done. The invitations have to reflect the quality of the work, the way you talk to the public, and blah, blah, blah. So I want them to do the best they can because I'm not going to see them forever. So I'm trying to say this is, in my opinion, the way it should be done in the best possible way. What they do with it after that is up to them. But this group has been very, very enthusiastic and very committed to making things work. So this is the latest incarnation of that. That's why we call it 10 Again, because in the last 5 months we've had all October, November, December in this gallery space, and now April 2011. So I hope that people will come and enjoy the quality of the work and decide for themselves what they enjoy.